Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to gently peel back the layers on one of the most fundamental ideas in all of programming, variables. Now, I know it sounds technical, but I promise, at its heart, it's a really simple idea, all about giving information a place to live. So let's start with a little thought experiment. What if every single piece of information, like your name, how old you are, the score in a video game, what if each one needed a home? Just a cozy little spot to stay while a program is doing its thing. Well, that's pretty much the magic behind why the web feels so alive. You know when a website welcomes you back by name or keeps track of what's in your shopping cart? It's because it has this clever way of remembering that information, even if it's just for a little while. And that remembering, that's exactly what we're talking about today. Okay, so how does this actually work? The simplest way, the way I first learned it, is to just imagine a box. Yeah, a simple cardboard box. It's a container you can put something in, slap a label on it, and then come back to find it later. And in the world of programming, this box has a special name. We call it a variable. That's all it is. It's just a named container, a little spot we've reserved in the computer's memory to hold a piece of information for us. Doesn't matter if it's a number, a word, or even just a simple yes or no. So you might be wondering, why are these boxes so important? Well, think about it. Without them, every website you'd visit would be like a page in a printed book. It would be totally static. It couldn't change. It wouldn't know who you are. It couldn't react to you at all. These variables, these little boxes, are what make websites feel dynamic and, well, interactive. They're the box that holds your name when you log in, the box that keeps count of the items in your cart, or the box that tracks your score as you play a game. They store all the info that needs to change from moment to moment. Okay, so that's the what and the why. But how do you actually make one of these boxes when you're writing code? Believe me, it is surprisingly simple. It all comes down to one special little word. In a ton of programming languages, JavaScript included, that keyword is var. Just think of it as the command you give the computer. You're basically saying, hey, I need a new box, please. And that's really it. When you type var and then give it a name, you're telling the computer to set aside a little piece of its memory for you to create that new container. This is the classic way to start, the real foundational first step. Now, when you're labeling your box, you have a lot of freedom, but there are a few simple ground rules. And they're not there to be tricky. They actually exist just to help keep everything organized and stop things from getting confusing. So first up, the name has to start with either a letter or an underscore. Also, you can't use spaces. What programmers usually do is use an underscore instead, or they'll just capitalize the next word. And last but not least, the names are case sensitive. That means a box labeled name with a lowercase n is a completely different thing from a box labeled name with a capital N. But honestly, more important than any of those technical rules is this one simple piece of advice. Make your names meaningful. I mean, calling a variable game score is so much clearer than just calling it X, right? It helps you, and anyone else who might look at your code, know exactly what it's for, instantly. And this is where things get really cool. The whole reason we put information in a box is so that we can change what's inside it later. That's actually why they're called variables, because the value inside of them can vary. And this makes it super clear. First, you see we create our box. We give it that meaningful name, game score, and we start its value at 0. Then, maybe you beat a level, so boom, we update the value to 100. Then you find a bonus item, and we can add 50 to whatever the current score is. See? The box itself stays the same, but the information inside is always in motion. So as we start to bring this all home, let's just focus on one simple and I think pretty empowering idea. Look, if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this. Don't let the fancy terminology intimidate you. At the end of the day, understanding variables is really just about learning how to create, label, and use these little information boxes. That's the whole secret. And just remember, every amazing app, every incredible website, every piece of software you use, it's all built from simple foundational ideas, just like this one. You've just understood a core building block of the entire digital world. Thanks so much for hanging out with me.